Hi guys, Ian living in the Philippines. What I want to talk about in this video is something that I seen last night and this morning for the first time actually, and it was a little bit disturbing, and it was about homeless people in America, to be exact, in Los Angeles. Um, And so I was looking at another channel and sort of comparing that with the UK. Well, one of the reasons why I decided to not go back to the UK was because every time I was going back, you could see that the living conditions were getting worse and worse and worse. And also the state of the old people, and that even more younger people were ending up living in poor conditions or even living on the streets. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I left the UK in 1981, stopped in Europe till 2007, where I ended up then in China. And as I said, so every time I was going back, you just said, oh, the shops are closing, everything's getting more expensive, the living conditions for the people were getting worse. And I said, and I want to go back to that. No, thank you. As a European, or maybe not as an American citizen, when you hear Los Angeles, or even there was a thing I seen, Miami, you think, wow, famous town, and must be really nice there, and rich people, and whatever. So last night, I don't know why, but I came across this channel that does 24/7 lives, and it's called OMG Live TV. So I'll put that up on the screen for you. And so I think there are CCTV cameras at certain points in the town. So this one, it's at West Lake. I just have to look at West Lake, because I'm watching it now actually. West Lake MacArthur Park in Los Angeles, and they all show something called Skid Row. So that's apparently where the most homeless people are in that part of that town. And I sat here. I must have been sitting and watching it for a few hours last night. Yeah, we say gobsmacked. Yeah, it's still now. I'm watching now. It's It's 11, 11:15 in the morning here. It's 10:15 in the evening there in Los Angeles, and you can see people lying around and standing bent over. They stand bent over for ages. They don't move. Lying on the ground, they're full with drugs and alcohol. But so many, all down the street, and then in their tents. It's I don't know. You don't normally see this, on the American news. Well, I don't know you guys who live in America, but when we watch NBC or whatever, you don't see this. They don't do reports of all the homeless people on the streets. And the other disturbing fact was you watched the live chat. How many of them are actually joking about them, and they take bets. When's the guy going to move, or when he's bent over, when is he going to fall down? And they're taking bets. Or my guy is that guy, or was it? Oh yeah, in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or like something's going to happen soon, or when a woman comes down and sits there, who's going to be the first one to go to her, or they're all making a joke. I don't know where these guys in the chat, where they all come from, but yeah, it was quite disturbing. And also the Skid Row. So I watched another program, and they done interviews with these guys, and they said, well, how do you end up living on the street? And most of them, they all or most of them had jobs. They were renting places, but the rent got so high, or the rent was more than half of their salary. And they said they just couldn't afford to live in their apartment or wherever anymore. So they chose then to live out on the street, but they were still working. But then they also lost their jobs, so they had nowhere to go, no money, and now they're living on the street. It's crazy. Or you had married people, got divorced, the relationship finished, and they end up on the streets again. OMG Live TV. So for us guys who are not in America, you go into that and have a look. I don't know. I don't know if I could do how they live. I mean, they have no other choice. But it's a bit crazy. So what I done then was there's there's a channel called Talk TV. Talk TV. And what they show is the life now in Britain. So I was watching that. So compare how they're living on the streets in America and how they're living on the streets in Great Britain. And it's similar, and the reasons are similar, but not as big. Like this in America, the whole street lined up, tents, one after another. Or there was a guy in his wheelchair, and they just put blankets over him for the night. That was how he was going to sleep all night. That's the electric car from the neighbour. Yeah, and in England it was the same. They said they had a job. They were renting a place, and the rent just exploded, and they couldn't afford to live in the place anymore. Normally in the UK you get put onto a council waiting list. Oh. That was now the adverts for the OMG that I'm watching. Yeah, it's a sad world now, and it's thing you never see these things. It's all a bit crazy. And then when you watch things like this, you think to yourself, yeah, I've got a house, I've got a roof over my head, I get warm meals every day. Of course, yes, I've worked for it, and I sit there and I'm drinking beer, and we have snacks, and then when you see these guys here, you think, shit, I don't know. Yeah, and then the drugs and alcoholics, and of course it gets them through the day, right? But on this English program, there was even children living on the streets. Well, that's not allowed. The police and council workers are supposed to go around and give shelter for the children. But there was one guy, he was saying he knows 10 and 12-year-old children that selling drugs. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It was just you have to watch this to see it yourself. And say those most of those guys were also working themselves. They had a roof over their head. They were getting money in. They were having hot meals. And then something happens, and then they're forced out in the streets. And it was someone they said it was at the LAPD. Actually, I think this is just around the corner. Is it just around the corner, you guys in America? Let me know in the comments. I think someone said the LAPD headquarters is just around the corner from this MacArthur Park, and they don't do nothing. So all these people are just left there on the street to, I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit. Um, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'll leave it at that, guys. So you look into OMG Live TV, what they're showing, and the British. It's not live, but they call it Talk TV. And for all the Americans, you can see what it's like in the UK, which they also don't show you in these nice programs on the news. And you can understand then why we Brits do not want to go back to Britain. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll catch you on my next video or on my next live. So until then, bye now. Bye.